It's not about trying to replace the parent's role by placing a named person in a young person's life. It just gives them the option to talk to someone out with the family about any difficulties or problems they may be having. Well, ain't that reassuring? A page on a government website designed to reassure people that they aren't looking to take over the role of parents. Why would the government be worried that people would think that in the first place? Besides being a creepy bit of newspeak, what is a named person? They are something that is being implemented in Scotland. As part of GERFEC, or Getting It Right for every child in Scotland, at or prior to birth, will be assigned a named person. Babies will also be tattooed with a corresponding barcode. Sorry, just kidding. GERFEC is a key element in the Children and Young People Bill, which was introduced by Alex Neil. Mr. Neil is the Cabinet Secretary for Social Justice, Communities and Pensioners' Rights. Going through the whole bill straight up would be quite dry, so luckily for us, this website includes a sound clip of an adorable little girl reading out the details. A very good choice. It's less blood-curdling this way.
Most of us get all the love and support we need from our families, but sometimes things can be a bit more difficult to sort out, and sometimes we, and maybe our families, might need a bit of extra help. Every baby, child and young person in Scotland is going to have a named person, someone outside the family who can help and support them if they need it. You might not have heard of this yet. For young people, it's most likely to be your guidance teacher or the head or deputy head. If things are going fine, most likely you won't notice any difference. But your named person should be there for you and your family. They should be able to give you any extra help or support if there are any concerns about your well-being.
At a glance, it sounds nice. Someone to make sure children are okay. I also found myself immediately hesitant to tear into this statement as a child was saying it. Kind of creepy if they did it deliberately for that effect. Regardless, I think it's a good idea to look at the language they used.
If things are going fine, most likely you won't notice any difference.
This paints the named person as some kind of surveillance. There will be a change. Someone will be assigned to your child, but don't worry, you won't notice it unless they have to step in.
They should be able to give you any extra help or support if there are any concerns about your well-being.
This is one of those lines I was talking about that sounds really nice at a first listen, but then you really think about it. It sounds like they're saying, if you're having trouble, they'll help you, but who exactly is deciding there's concern about your well-being? Presumably, the person watching you. And what does well-being even mean? You'd be forgiven for thinking that it just means that the child is healthy and happy, just in general, there aren't any major problems. However, well-being is a nice bit of Scottish newspeak. The well-being of children and young people is at the heart of GERFEC. The approach uses 8 areas of well-being in which children and young people need to progress in order to do well now and in the future. These 8 areas are set in the context of the 4 capacities, which are at the heart of the curriculum for excellence. The 8 areas of well-being in the context of the 4 capacities, which are at the heart of the curriculum for excellence. Wasn't this in Morrowind? It really sounds like the beginning of a demon summoning ritual from a fantasy game. The 4 capacities aim to enable every child and young person to be a successful learner, a confident individual, a responsible citizen, and an effective contributor. And remember, every child in Scotland will be assigned a person at or before birth to make sure they are turning into a responsible citizen. Otherwise, they step in to change it. So what's their primary method of intervention? A big wheel with a difference should soon be helping teachers and other professionals in Perth and Kinross work differently with children, young people and their families, as head teacher at Letham Primary, Sharon Forbes, explains. Where a child has particular learning, emotional and social needs, meetings between professionals and families can sometimes get quite emotional. We've been piloting a new approach that lets everyone express their thoughts and feelings in a constructive way that's completely focused on the well-being of the child who is at the heart of the discussion. It's a large format, tabletop version of the GERFEC well-being wheel. Very simple, but it helps everyone to keep their focus on the child and their family. It allows us to identify clear strengths, difficulties or barriers and to agree what the family can do and how the professionals can support them to achieve this. Sounds nice and pleasant, but remember what the purpose of the GERFEC well-being wheel actually is to make sure that the child is becoming what the government considers a responsible citizen and effective contributor. These meetings are for when a person assigned to a child at birth decides the kid isn't going in the right path, and they get together to tell the family what they can do. Sorry, in spite of the colourful design and nice language, my blood is running cold. Perhaps you don't feel the same, but maybe that's because I haven't shown you everything I've read. Let's go back to the well-being page. Referring to the 8 well-being indicators, it says, these are the basic requirements for all children and young people to grow and develop and reach their full potential. They are shown in the diagram on the right, which we call the well-being wheel. The well-being indicators are used to record observations, events, and concerns, and as an aid in putting together a child's plan. The My World triangle and the resilience matrix are used to gather, structure, and help with assessing and analyzing information. Is it just me, or have you noticed that in the front sections, the main bit, the flowery bit, it makes it seem like they're gonna step in and protect children from abuse, but here it sounds more than a little bit Big Brother. Children and young people will progress differently depending on their circumstances, but every child and young person has the right to expect appropriate support from adults to allow them to develop as fully as possible across each of the well-being indicators. That is a level of spin that should inspire awe. Every child has the right to government interference in their life to make sure it's going the right way. Or at least, that's how I'm reading it. All agencies in touch with children and young people must play their part in making sure that young people are healthy, achieving, nurtured, active, respected, responsible, included, and, above all, safe. Like I said at the beginning, I really have no idea at all why they'd feel the need to try to reassure people that the government isn't trying to take over the role of parents. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.